Vince in Napa.
Hold on, Vince.
I think I have an idea of a coach who might unite the fan base.
Okay,
I
open to
don't
this.
really think that he's gettable, but he's more gettable than some other big names that we discussed.
Okay.
I think if you could get him to say yes, the coach that unites his fan base the most is Kyle Whittingham at Utah. Am I wrong on that?
Not bad.
I think that's more than Zach Taylor. I'm dead serious because you got a bunch of people saying we don't want we don't want another ex-Husker. Screw the brand of ex-Huskers. We just got to find a guy that wins.
Whittingham is 62.
Well, he's not Mike Riley at 61 years old when he came.
No, I've told you the story of. I say it all the time, so I'll gloss it this quickly. I was on the phone with somebody telling me that when the moment Riley was announced as Nebraska's head coach, I was on the phone with someone telling me it's going to be Whittingham. So I wonder if Whittingham. I wonder if Whittingham was involved last time around when they hired Riley. Not last time around, 2 times around ago.
Yeah.
I wonder about that. And by the way, I had a text exchange with Kyle Whittingham yesterday.
You did.
Because Bush coached for him. I'm going to talk to Whittingham.
You texted Kyle Whittingham.
Yeah.
Hey, you want the job?
He texted
Kyle?
right back. I'm going to talk to him today.
That must be he wants the job. That he texted you right back. Oh, a Nebraska reporter wants to talk.
Kyle Whittingham. I will have him talking about Bill Bush later in the week.
That's the guy that would unite be closest to uniting the fan base. That's it. That's the guy. But do I think it's likely? No.
You know what? I don't think you're too far off on that. That he would. I think
that's the closest thing to it. Right?
Why? But here's why. Because you watch Utah play. Tough, rugged.
They're
tough, rugged program.
Yes.
He was a defensive coordinator at Utah before he moved into the head coaching role. He was the DC under Urban Meyer. Think about that. Urban Meyer and Whittingham on the same program. Hello.
Well, they were good.
Hello. Did you just say hello?
I did hello. Well, they were good for a reason.
Yeah. Vince.
Cam and Valparaiso, Bengals fan, says this. Burrow went to the Super Bowl. ZT, Zach Taylor, didn't. Trust me, great leader, but not a great football coach. Zach Taylor, Bengals fan. Okay. All right, let's get a call from Vince, who's been waiting on the phone in Napa, California. Vince, you're on early break. Go ahead.
Hey, good morning, fellas. How are you?
Good, Vince.
Vince, bring it.
Well, a couple of points that you guys have been talking about as far as, as far as, Arizona State and Auburn, being attractive jobs versus Nebraska. I mean, to me, the only thing Arizona State would have that would make it attractive would be weather. But again, that's about it because the downside is, I mean, yeah, you've got weather, you've got, and all of that and all that sort of thing. But in the same sense, though, here's another thing to think about. You're also in a professional sports market where you're going to get buried, and I mean, some people might see that as a good thing or a bad thing, but aside from that, that's really about all they have. I mean, to your point, I mean, it's hard to generate any momentum when you're drawing 40,000 a game, but and to your point about Auburn, they're always going to be ticket number 2 in the state of Alabama. That's even when Cam Newton is leading you to a national championship, and some would say it's a plus to be in the SEC, but I would argue that as long as you have, I would argue that for the foreseeable future, the SEC is going to continue to be the Georgia-Alabama Invitational, and as far as, which coaching candidate would universally unify our fan base. I mean, I don't see that person out there in large part, and not because it's any indictment on the person who's coming in. I just think that after the Scott Frost experience, as a fan base, we're going to be very reluctant to throw ourselves at somebody like we did with him. And all that era turned out to be like marrying a supermodel that embezzled you for $1 million. But so that's why I think we as a fan base are going to be reluctant to just bow down and worship the ground anybody walks on.
True.
But,
True.
Yes, but however, to your point though, I do think that there are some people that will, I think, unify a large chunk of the fan base. And one name that you guys brought up that I really like, and I've been on this train for a while, or at least since the Frost era went south, is Mark Stoops. Mark Stoops is one name that I've been out there, and I'm definitely warming up more and more to the idea of Lance Leipold, because if you think about it, at Kansas he's doing everything that we want Nebraska to do, as far as beating more talented teams, getting the most out of players, winning in the margins, all that sort of thing. But there's no question as a fan base we're hurting quite a bit. But I'll tell you one thing though, Sip. In my personal life, in my professional life, yesterday's a good example. 12-hour day, lumping 43 pounds of water every damn day. I'm going to continue to bring it, and I'm going to fight with bloody knuckles.
Attaboy, Vince.
Okay, Vince. Yeah, I love your spirit. Winning in the margins. I want you to think about that. Nebraska hasn't done that. Now, I've done that, and what I'm getting at here is I'm not sure exactly what that means. I have images in my mind, but what does winning in the margins mean to you? You don't have to answer it right now, but I'd love to hear that from the text line. What does winning in the margins mean to you? That's a good. I like that term that Vince just threw out. Kevin,
you're up next. An early break. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Kevin. Outdoors Kevin.
Kevin. What's up?
Hi, Outdoors Kevin.
Hey, first of all, this is to Zip. I'm tired of winning the preseason, the off season, the press conferences. I want to win during the season. Zach Taylor has no coaching experience in college. He doesn't know what it's like going into houses and trying to persuade parents and kids to come to Nebraska. Yes, he's as a college athlete he was in that, but it's different when you're the coach. I don't think he's cut out for college coaching. And second of all, the press really never gave Zach Taylor any pub until he went to the Super Bowl. It's like Nebraska never really liked him because he was a Callahan guy.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin.
But I'll hang up.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just think right now, to this first point, I mean, this is not a place right now where you learn how to recruit. I know he's been in college football before as an assistant coach, never as a head coach. But you can't have a guy that's learning and recruiting right now. I don't care what his pedigree is as making the Super Bowl.
I don't think you learn to recruit. I think
Well,
you either do that or you don't. You can or you can't.
Well,
there's no
we don't
course
know if he can.
There's no course
but we don't know if he can. That's the thing. You're taking a risk saying he can recruit without proving it.
Listen, hold on, stop. Can you take a deep breath? Head coaches don't really recruit that much anymore. They don't go out on the road. They're not allowed to.
Does he have
Okay. All right. What are you talking about? They don't go into living rooms anymore. Not a lot. I mean, they're not allowed to go out very much. Okay.
You
hire a staff.
I am still not. Again, I love Zach Taylor, the quarterback at Nebraska. I'm hoping he succeeds in the NFL. I don't think he's the guy here, and I don't think he unifies his fan base. I'm very, very firm on that. One last call before we get to break. Joel, you're up next. An early break. Go ahead.
Yes, there's zero chance Zach Taylor would be available for one. You have to go back to the history of the Bengals and their coach before, Marvin Lewis.
Okay.
He coached there for like 10 years.
No, more than that.
And that guy was like average at best. They're not going to fire Zach Taylor. I guarantee you. He could go 0-8, and they're still not going to fire him after making a Super Bowl. So he's not going to be available. And so it's kind of like a moot point. Of the people that you haven't mentioned, the only other one that I could say that's already kind of rejected the job would be Bob Stoops. That would unite the fan base also. That's a big name too.
Yeah, Stoops would
not happening, but he would unite. Thank you, Joel. Appreciate it.
Now, Joel, respectfully disagree with you that Zach would be a moot point. I think he would leave Cincinnati on his own accord because he's making what $4 million there, 4.5. Nebraska could double it easy. And he loves this place. So I don't think it has to be a situation where he'd have to get fired in order to take this job. I think he would just take the job on his own accord.
On the same point, to back him up, I mean, yeah, Cincinnati is loyal to their coaches. They are loyal.
Mhm.
Marvin was there for 20 years, almost like 15 years. I mean, it's forever. They don't fire coaches.
So you are convinced that Zach Taylor wouldn't unify,
No.
and the text line seems to agree with you.
Correct, yeah. I don't think he unifies.
Wonderful.
Again, I love the player, love Zach, but I don't think he unifies the fan base.
Well, thank you for the calls, Joel, Vince, Kevin, Tom.
Yes.
First hour, always a lot of calls.
When we
It's
come
amazing.
back, we have Song of the Day, and we'll have Jeff Essink from Farrell's and our own Mark Onweiler in here to